stage. My name is Dave Hughes, and I'm with Hyundai Broadcasting, and I'm here in Cobourg, and I'm a member of the Prospering Northumberland Committee. I'm here to welcome you this evening, and it's a beautiful evening outside, and we hope you have a beautiful evening inside as well. I must say that I'm somewhat overwhelmed. I was the guy that was concerned that we might get 50 or 100 people here, and we certainly got up to close to 300, so I'm very, very pleased to have you here. We're going to start with an excellent panel discussion, and I know you won't be disappointed. It's coming up shortly, and then we're going to be followed by a talk from our keynote speaker. Right there. She is sitting in the front row here. This is Barbara Stegemann, so she's going to be our keynote speaker. Barb came all the way from Nova Scotia to be with us today. And she said that her arms are killing her. And I think you're going to really enjoy what Barb has to say. She's been touted as one of the best, if not the best, pitch person on the CBC Dragons deck. So we're very fortunate to have her with us tonight. And I'm sure that when you leave here tonight, you're going to leave with at least one fresh idea of how you can improve your business. I'd like to take a minute here, if I could, to tell you a little bit about our Prospering Northumberland Committee. It began only 3 months ago in February. It's comprised of all local media. It's comprised as well as local chambers of commerce. We have representation from the DBIA in Cobourg, the HBIA in Porco, as well as the Business Advisory Center and a bunch of different groups. And we got together in February, just in the first week of February, and here it is just 3 months later, and we've managed to put on an event of this magnitude. So we're very, very excited about it. It's a small committee, but they're very dedicated. We all know that the world economy has been in shambles to a large degree, and the impact is being felt around the world. This is really unique because in years gone by when there was economic downturn, it was generally confined to North America, or maybe the US and Canada, and everybody in pockets around the continents, around the world, they had their own issues. But this is really now a worldly issue, and we're feeling the effects of that down economy in Northumberland, just like they are in many other centers around the world. So our committee was formed to discuss and implement ways of bolstering retail and consumer confidence. And it's just as simple as that. We know that a lot of the attendees here tonight are business owners, business operators, and you're here because you want to grow your business and help it be more successful in a down economy. So we featured the people you're going to see in our panel discussion tonight. We featured them in a series of radio and newspaper articles in the last 8 to 10 weeks. And these are people that our committee as a group felt are businesses across Northumberland County that are successful, in our eyes anyway. We felt that these are businesses that are a little above many other businesses because they may think outside the box. And hopefully tonight they can share maybe some thoughts, words of wisdom that you can take back to your business and implement as quickly as you can so that we can help you be successful in this economy, in this tough economic time. So these individuals are giving of their time, and we know that they're excited about it, so please, when you want at the end to ask questions, York's going to review that shortly. But our goal tonight is simple. After listening, if you can leave and take home one of those gems, that's what this is all about. So we'd like to ask you please to turn off your cell phones, your iPods, because we don't want people interfering with what's going on the stage. And if you could please do that, remember that the Park Theatre is now licensed. It never was licensed, it's licensed now. So you can take the alcohol to your seat. We will be having an intermission following the panel discussion prior to our keynote address from Barbara Stegemann. So now I'd like to introduce you to York Bell-Smith. York is our moderator for tonight's business panel portion of our evening. And York is the program director and promotions manager for Star 93.3 and 107.9 The Breeze here at Cobourg. So York Bell-Smith.
Thank you very much, Dave. Welcome, everybody. As Dave mentioned, we are going to give you an opportunity to ask questions of our panelists yourself once we get through the panel discussion. So get your questions ready, or maybe something they say while they're answering the questions will give you spark an idea of a question you may have. Right now, I'd like to introduce our panel. First, from Lauria Hyundai in Port Hope, Bud Lauria. Lauria Hyundai, Northumberland County's only Hyundai dealer, this year selected as Canada's #1 Hyundai dealer. A tremendous achievement for a company that's just been open for really a few years. Welcome, Bud Lauria. From the Buttermilk Café in Cobourg, operated by Linda and her husband Bob, Linda Marr. They've been located in downtown for over 10 years. It's one of the town's most popular restaurants. Welcome, Linda. From Northumberland Hearing Centers, please welcome Carl Fletcher. Northumberland Hearing Centers, they operate out of locations in Northumberland and Cobourg counties and offer audiology and hearing aid services to thousands of clients. From Luxe Boutique in downtown Warkworth, an upmarket women's fashion store which also features consignment items and upmarket home decor and furnishing, Karen Williams. Welcome, Karen. From Remax Lakeshore Realty in Cobourg, Tony Pulla. He's been selling residential and commercial real estate across Northumberland County since 1970. He's also a major contributor to nonprofit causes throughout our entire county. From Absolute Therapeutics in Cobourg, Tracey Osborne. Therapeutics is a multidisciplinary clinic. She offers massage therapy and certified homeopathic therapists to clients suffering from pain and soft tissue damage. Welcome, Tracey. And from Bling on King in Cobourg and Kenneth Fashions in Port Hope, Kenneth. He is very involved in retail and wholesale sales and a big supporter of many organizations throughout our community. Now, not able to be with us tonight are three additional businesses that were also featured recently in local newspapers and on the radio. These individuals and businesses that couldn't make it are Arlie Campbell of Basil's Market and Deli in Port Hope. Her and her mother have opened Basil just 2 years ago, and it has quickly become a very popular meeting place for young and old alike, serving great food at a great price. Blake Bolton of Bolton's Flowers in downtown Port Hope is currently cruising somewhere in the Caribbean. You want to take a boat out of Lake Ontario right now, you can feel like you're cruising in the Caribbean too. Beautiful here. You know what? Bolton Flowers is synonymous with downtown Port Hope. They've been located there for almost 30 years. Blake, too, is a very big booster in the Port Hope community. And last but not least, Ralph Bolton of Canadian Tire in Cobourg. Ralph's store just underwent a massive renovation. His store is now one of the largest in the Canadian Tire family. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our Prosper in Northumberland panel. So what is going to happen now, I'm going to ask each of the panelists a couple of questions. We'll go through a question each in order, and then through the second questions, we may expound on some of their answers. You guys are free to answer however you like. Take as much time as you like to be as thorough as possible. I ask once again that you make sure the microphone is pulled close to your face as you answer so everybody can hear you. We're going to start with Bud Lauria from Lauria Hyundai. Now, Bud, not only are you successful in the community, but you're also outstanding in your industry. What do you feel is your greatest strength that has gotten you to where you are today?
I don't know, York.
Good answer. Thank you very much, Bud.
I'm just glad that I called Ken earlier to find out what he was wearing, because that would have been really awkward. So Mike can stop moving away from him. I think in our business especially, probably in any business, the process is probably the most important thing. And obviously there's a lot of other things that go into making a business successful, but a sound process can offer your business what's the word I'm looking for, consistency, I guess, that you need to be able to do the same thing every single time. So you need to find that process that works and execute it every single time. But I guess a little bit of stage right here. It's difficult. I guess the key is where you find your processes. I think a lot of people make the mistake of looking within their own industry for their processes. The problem with that is, at best, you're going to end up with an average business or slightly above average business within your industry. What we try and do is look elsewhere. So we look at different retail places, the service industry. We look especially at the hospitality and tourism industry for different ideas that we can implement within our business. So when you come into our business, it's not, obviously it's about selling and servicing cars, but it doesn't always feel that way. It may feel like you're getting a room at a nice hotel or something like that. So for us, it's all about process. Obviously, the people who drive those processes, it's putting the right things in place and then executing them the same every time. We've got 30 people that work for us, and if you don't have sound processes, what do you get when you get 30 people that are doing something different every time? Well, you get different results every time, and those results aren't always going to be good. So I'd say process.
So you talk about those processes and doing them the same every time. How do you keep that fresh with your staff and keep them motivated?
Training. You gotta go over it every single time. A lot of my staff feels that I'm a little repetitive in our meetings, but you have to be. You've got to continue to remind them of the processes. You've got to continue to tweak the processes as well, and make the team a part of building those processes. And often when we're training on existing processes, we'll come up with different ideas to tweak it just a little bit and make it even better. And often the team is part of that.
Inclusion of the staff, a key part of that.
Absolutely. They're going to buy into it more if they're part of creating those processes.
But thank you very much. Linda Marr, Buttermilk Café. I know many people, if not everybody in this room, myself included, have eaten there many times. And one thing that stands out all the time is your staff. How do you show appreciation for your staff? How do you keep them fresh and motivated and coming into work and being as good as they are each and every day?
Well, I'm going to speak for front of house because I manage front of house, and I think that I never asked to do anything that I wouldn't do. They know that when you're in a service industry, especially in a restaurant, it's repeat business. So when they acknowledge and recognize the customer and treat them really, really well, I try and make sure I know that they've done that and tell them. We don't try and do anything specific on, in a monthly way. We do it every single day, or perhaps it's, a number of times a day, because sometimes there's people that are coming into the restaurant and, they just walked down the street from the Cobourg or something and they're not feeling very well. It's really, really important that our staff, who are our ambassadors, understand how to treat those people at work, kind of read them. And I try and make sure that I thank them for understanding and realizing that, because that's what brings people back. They understand that, these servers are all thinking about them and not just, the tip at the end of the service. So we just try and make sure, they know that we appreciate them.
So communication of that appreciation?
Absolutely. Talking to them and letting them know this was great, you did a great job, you handled that really well, and whatever. It's ongoing. It isn't just something that has to happen once a week, once a month. We tell them that all the time. And they also, I think, realize how much we appreciate them when we have servers who have children and who are in school or get sick and they have to leave, and we just make it work for them so that they know that we're thinking about their families too. And it's important. If they're happy about where they work, then they'll come every day and they'll do a great job and enjoy it. And that's what really counts.
What kind of reaction do you get from your staff when these little tidbits of appreciation come out, the thank yous, or I saw that was a great job?
They're really grateful. That's why I think they stay so long with us. Really lucky in that way.
Excellent.
They've been with us a long time. Some of them right from the beginning, 10 years. So it's good.
Thank you very much, Linda. Carl Fletcher from Northumberland Hearing Centers, your first question tonight. What is the best financial advice you have ever heard?
Well, first of all, can everybody hear me? No, it's not a pun. Seriously, in my field, a lot of people can't hear, speakers, so I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. So everybody can hear me? Actually, the best financial advice I got tonight is from these guys. Bud said, buy a Hyundai. Linda said, eat a Buttermilk. Tony said, buy a Remax. I'm in. Anyway, actually, the best financial advice I ever got actually was from my father. My father I've always looked at as a mentor for me, right from education, right from university, right through. I followed in his footsteps. He was pharmaceutical, I'm hearing, so it's kind of the medical field. But he's guided me, he's given me the advice, and I followed his footsteps. One of the things he's always stated to me, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. And I know that sounds repetitive to some of you, but you know what? It stems from our children and our kids and raising a family. My kids all the time, I want it, I want it, I want it. And it's my second level. Do you want it or do you need it? There's a distinct difference. And I think we have to look at this as it relates to our businesses. There's a lot of cars I'm sure Bud wants to buy. There's a lot of maybe food that Linda wants to buy. There's a lot of hearing devices I want to buy. Can I afford it at this point in time? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm not going to go into debt for it. And I think that's critical, and that's my third stage. Don't go into debt to achieve your goals, because you're going to backpedal right from the onset, right through. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it, but I thank my father for everything he's offered me.
Carl, thank you very much. Karen Williams from Lux Boutique. Karen, your store is in a niche market. How do you maintain your individuality but still stay competitive?
Well, I think the competitive thing is something I go for first, which is price, quality, service, of course, and product. Product also fits into the individuality, because even though there are other people who are in the same sort of vein that I'm in, I think the edge is absolutely what kind of product can you offer that people actually need, but isn't available in not only your immediate community, but also in the surrounding community. Because ultimately, to be successful, what you want, at least in retail, and I think anywhere, is to offer a product or service that people want to come to you for. You need to be the expert, you need to be the one, the go-to place, and that certainly helps you attract new customers, and it helps you retain the ones that you have, and it certainly boosts your image in other areas. And as an example of that, I was listening to my customers, and I'm always on the floor, so I have an opportunity to chat with my ladies who come in. And I discovered that there was quite a shortage of very stylish, well-made, well-fitting, and fairly affordable plus-size merchandise for gals. So I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it. And so when I went buying, I made sure that I tried to find exactly what they were looking for, and I was able to advertise that, and that certainly brought me many women who I hadn't had the opportunity to meet before, or who would have gone by the store and thought, well, because of course all mannequins are about a size 2, which of course we all are, and so it's a bit of a deterrent when you walk by and you're not a size 2, so you think, well, that's all this store has. So that is something that really boosted sales for me, and made other people feel part of the fashion world. And so I think it's really important to not only listen, but hear what your customer is saying, and listen to what they're not saying. Pay attention to what they're buying, why they're buying, and what they're not buying, and why they're not buying. So there.
So very important to pay attention in your community. Being in a smaller community, and even including the county as well, it's paying attention to what's going on out there.
Yes, exactly. And I never really think about the fact that I'm in a smaller community, because I think that'll limit your goals and your aspirations in terms of how you want to position your business. I think that I'm in Northumberland County. I think that I am in this region of Ontario. And so my scope when I'm looking for product or service goes beyond just servicing Warkworth or Trent Hills or Northumberland County. So I try to be competitive. I try to think about what can I offer that my customers, I don't lose them to Toronto or Ottawa or New York or somewhere else, or Florida when they go on holiday. So, I think that's, for me, very important, and it's paid off. And, customers will tell you certainly if you're doing something right, and will certainly tell you if you're doing something wrong. And, but, it's great that, I think it's important to just think outside of your immediate area. I think to expand your own mind is to expand your business.
Thank you very much, Karen. Tony Pulla, I want to ask you, what are some of the difficulties you face day in and day out being your own boss?
Well, there's a romantic notion attached to the whole concept of being your own boss. And it comes from the notion that you can do what you want when you want. And to a certain extent, that's true. However, to get to that level, you need a lot of discipline. And you need to, at the same time, be very rigorous, but yet remain flexible. And that's not easy to achieve. I mean, we all get up in the morning every day, and we have 24 hours. That's it. At the end of the day, it's done. So then what do you do during that 24 days? For me, the most difficult thing is that I don't spend enough time. It's finding time for myself and for my family and for my friends. The business aspect is very good. I can manage that. And I find that I seem to always, well, I'll do a deal and then I'll do what I want to do for myself tomorrow or next week. And I find that that after a while takes a toll. So that's where the rigor comes in terms of really managing your time and schedule time for yourself to re-energize and spend time with your family, of course, and your friends. And other than that, being your own boss is great.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah. Still having fun. I said, oh, I'll stop when I stop having fun, then I'll stop.
How difficult is it, or was it for you to get that sense of discipline to be able to become successful? I mean, is it something that you were born with, or that people are born with, or is it something you really have to work at?
No, I wasn't. I was very undisciplined. But I was very fortunate in my career to have some really good mentors. And that has made all the difference. One of the best, I mean, I read a lot of books on management, time management, and one of the best techniques that was handed down to me by one of my mentors, who long passed away, a chap by the name of Cobourg. And he says, you've got to finish your circle. So if something is good enough to start, then you've got to finish it. Complete the circle. So if you have a piece of paper and you have a contract and you're doing a deal, finish the deal. If it was good enough to start, finish it. Whatever the project is. And then you only touch the paper once. You only do the deal once. You don't have to do it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tony. Tracey, Osborne, Absolute Therapeutics. In your interviews and in the ads, you referred to your business plan. How important do you feel a business plan is, and what advice would you give to someone looking to build one?
A business plan is and should be the foundation of how your business is run. If you have a solid business plan, that should carry you on for the first 6 months to a year throughout your plan, throughout your starting of your business. It goes through startup costs and advertising and what you plan on putting in your business to make your business stand out from the others. If you have a good business plan, investors and banks are going to want to invest in you. They're going to see that you thought about your business and how you want to sell it to the community and how you plan on making your business just that step above everybody else's.
How difficult is it getting started? I mean, like not a lot of people, I know a while ago I had looked at starting my own business and then reached this point where, okay, the advice I got is now you got to put a business plan together. Not a clue. Where do you go to get that started? Where did you go? How did you get your business plan started and put together?
I was a little luckier because the school that I went to actually made us do a business course, and they set out doing a business plan as if you were opening your own business. So I knew that one day I was going to have my own business and actually set up my business plan as I wanted to when I started.
Right.
It's also good to have mentors so that you can ask them, well, how did you do this? What are you looking for? And they don't have to be in your specific business. Other people have great businesses that you can actually take ideas into your own and make them your own. So we have a lot of great businesses here in this community, and why wouldn't we look at others for advice and make sure that we can make our business successful like theirs is?
Exactly, very good point. Thank you very much, Tracey. Ken Bell, when you own your own business, how important do you feel having a community presence is?
Having a presence in your community is essential to having a prosperous and successful business. I think the first thing you need to do is join the local Chamber of Commerce, and the second thing, and also to join the Downtown Business Association. Both have amazing e-blasts every month, and they're full of information for the downtown. Getting involved in a service club. I joined Rotary 5 years ago. I love Rotary. I love the people in Rotary, and it has really prospered my business. I've been to all 3 clubs. I belong to the Port Hope Club, but the people are great, and it's a volunteer. I mean, you don't have to join Rotary. You can join the Lions Club or any other service club, but I joined Rotary. But it's great for volunteering, and I think it's a great thing. It's a great, again, to be visible in the community and to show people that you're doing something outside your business. Another thing that you can do is help with local fundraising. Fundraisers. I like to be involved with fundraisers, and if you, well, Northumberland has a lot of fundraisers, believe me. I get asked about 15 to 20 times a week for silent auction prizes. Now, of course, I usually give because you can't say no to charity, but it's really important to be, again, there in the community, not just at your job 9 to 5 or 10 to 5. It's good to be out there and visible, so people know, they can see that person's doing something. Maybe I'll go to their business, or another person's volunteering or something, and maybe I'll support them as well, because they see you doing something else rather than just, running your business. Go to a business after 5 meeting and greet. They're great. The business card drop-in. Usually Port Hope and Cobourg have them once a month, and it's great for new businesses and existing businesses to meet, and because some people don't even know that some businesses exist, so it's good to do that as well. I think it's just all about networking and being social. Some business people are a bit more social than others, but it doesn't matter. As long as you do something, and as long as you, again, you're there in the community. I always say to businesses, I know it's a pretty tough economy right now, but, try to give, just even if give a little bit, give a little bit back to the community that supports you.
And you are in the public eye quite a lot. There's other things that you do as well, the co-hosting of TV Santa Claus Parade, things like that. How important is that to get your face in the community? I missed it last year. How important is it to you and your business to get your face in the community, not just in the service bus, but being out on the street?
Well, I mean, I'm in my stores more often now. I think I said that on the radio before, because it's, customers have asked, where's Ken, and I can't be everywhere, but I decided to sort of do a 50-50 and be with my wholesale business, but then be in the retail stores as well. As far as on the street, the Santa Claus Parade is great. I've been doing that for about 5 years, and mostly with you, with Joel Scott. It's good to be visible. It's just good to be outside your store and taking, for people to think that, that you like to do other things besides just work.
Thank you very much, Ken. Great answer so far in the first round of questions. We'll move to our second round, back to Lauria. What are 1 or 2 key traits that you look for in employees that you feel are going to make them a valuable asset to your team?
Well, I guess the first thing I'll say is that we don't place much emphasis on experience. I find that, especially in our business, the car business has evolved a lot in the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but we find there's still a lot of crap out there, if I can say that. So to hire somebody with a lot of experience, they often bring a lot of baggage with them. So we hire based on personality first. It's not to say that I won't hire anybody with experience, but we put a lot of emphasis on personality. So I look for somebody who's friendly. I look for somebody who hopefully lives within our community. Somebody that is good at reaching out to people. Somebody that might bring a clientele with them. We look a lot at Facebook now. If I'm looking at hiring somebody, I'll go and see how many friends I have on Facebook. We got 500, 600, 700 friends on Facebook, then I know this is somebody that can reach out to the community and to the friends and family. A lot less with that.
You got some Facebook friends here, I think.
Yeah, probably. But no, so we hire based on personality first, especially when it comes to the sales. People will buy from somebody that they like. You can say all you want about, this person knows the numbers, this person knows the product. They buy from people that they like. If they're comfortable with you, then they'll buy your product, provided the product is good. Fortunately, we're pretty lucky there. But somebody that can build rapport, somebody that can engage a customer, and create a relationship that in some cases can last 20 or 30 years, and a dozen cars or 20 cars or so. The other thing that we look at is accountability. I want somebody that, we talked a lot about process in the last question. Well, I need people that can drive those processes forward. So if I think that you're not going to follow my processes and that you're going to kind of blaze your own trail, that's not going to work for us. And that's not to say that we don't look to our staff for different suggestions and different ideas as to how to change our business. But we need people to follow those processes that we know are proven and that do work.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Bud. Linda, we talked in your first question about how you show appreciation for your staff. I want to stay with the customer service with you and what you feel are the key points to excellent customer service, not just with your front of the house staff, but yourself when you're and the back of the house staff. I mean, they get to associate with customers as well. It's all part of it. What are the keys to excellent customer service from your point?
Consistency. In our industry, obviously, consistency, it has to come out of the kitchen. Every single time someone comes in the door, recognizing and acknowledging them within so many seconds, and continuing that service right from when they enter to when they close. So often, if you've gone into not just a restaurant, but sometimes a store, you know, you feel like it doesn't matter that you're there anymore because right away you weren't looking at something specific and saying what you wanted perhaps. And we emphasize these people have come here, they can go to lots of places to eat. Look after them. You know, there's a difference between good service, great service, and hospitality. And we always try and emphasize, you know, even when you're taking an order, when you're talking to people, look at them in the eye, make contact, and make them feel like they really are here. A lot of people love recognition. We have a lot of seniors. We always try and remember if someone can't sit on a certain type of chair, if they, you know, have a hard time hearing, and and you know, try not to sit them where there's some little children, and we get lots of children too. So, you know, customer service is far more than just making sure that it's great food, it has to be consistent, that, you know, there's a comfortable, clean restaurant. It's a lot of things, and we try and pay attention to all of those things, because if someone isn't happy, then look after them, because they'll go and tell 50 people if they're not, and that's huge. You have to look after a problem right away, solve it, and make sure you know if there is a problem. Don't just say, oh, well, that person didn't eat it all, must not have been that hungry. Oh, no, maybe there's a problem why they didn't eat it all. So we really try and work at solving an issue right away, because that's part of customer service. Yeah. That is too.
In my company, we take those and we throw them out the back door.
One thing I want to say that you touched on there with something that stands out for me personally, and being in your restaurant. When our son was first born, we wanted to sit him up in a high chair, and you suggested something else. You came to us and said, no, the high chairs. It was almost like a little bassinet thing that you... The sling.
Yes.
Which was, I wouldn't have thought of that. Brand new parents wouldn't have thought of that. And you suggested that and had that on hand, which was appreciated. And that was 3.5 years ago, and I mean, it's like it happened yesterday. Excellent service. Carl Fletcher, your second question. In the Prosper for Northumberland ad, you spoke about the importance of balance. What advice can you give business people that may be having difficulties managing the balance between business and a home life?
Yeah, pardon me, I think it's really, really important, and I've evidenced it, I've lived it, you know, with the family, and my wife and everything else. I think so often we get so focused on our business because that's our livelihood, and that we neglect our family, our children, or whatever. I learned the hard way through my wife going at me like hard about 10 years ago when we first opened up in this town, and slowly it migrated to the point, honestly, we were going to split. And I'm going to be frank with people, because that's the ultimate sacrifice. It's your business or your family. And I'm just here to give you my personal opinion, and you know, that's all I can offer you. But it led it down that path, and it's a sad story. It never evolved like that. We have a great marriage, and we have a great family and great kids. But it's so important that you don't get so absorbed in your business, because I'm the worst. I'm a type A aggressor. I love my business. I sleep with my business. I eat my business. I'm probably similar to a lot of the panelists. But you've got to take the break point and deal with your family and other issues and other matters, or you're going to burn out, and it's going to be a downfall of either your business or your family, or something else is going to just crumble. And you know what? In the scheme of things, it's just not worth it. So that's my point.
It's really hard when you're stressed with other things to come into work and put that happy face on for your customers and give that proper service, right?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's like it's all a facade, right? You walk into the staff, hi everybody, and then you go to your office and you want to punch a wall. You want to kick the computer and so on. Seriously though, I mean, we're all in business. We all know what days are like. It's very frustrating sometimes. And I'm the first one to attest to it. I mean, it's frustrating sometimes. And to keep that face on and the game face on for your staff and your patients or your customers, it's tough to do. Because you know what? It's all pent up inside. And you can only, it's got to come out. And that's why you need balance.
Thank you very much. Karen, what has been the biggest challenge for you being in a smaller community? And how did you overcome that?
Well, typically, if you're in a smaller community, you're off the beaten path. You are not on the 401 or a main drag. So the challenge there is how do you get people to take that extra 30, 60, 90 minutes to come and see you? So to overcome that, advertise the heck out of yourself and promote yourself as much as you can, whether it's teaming up with the chamber or if you can get on co-op advertising campaigns and things like that, or regional, absolutely. But one of the things that I found to be incredibly successful is to do fundraisers. And what is unusual about my fundraiser is that it's my in-store fundraiser. And I don't do it with my immediate community. I have actually teamed up with people and organizations from outside of my immediate community. So for example, with Northumberland Hills Hospital, Rhonda Cunningham and I put a little fundraiser at my store together, and we've done this twice, and it was very successful. And what was great about that is, first of all, I'm attracting people right to my store, right into the door, and right in so that they can see the ambience, they can see the product, they can meet me, they can get an idea of what's off the beaten track. And so they're here. They're purchasing something, which is fantastic. We're all in business, we like to hear that. And they're also going to tell their friends that here's something that's available in this community, it's something you want to see. And the win-win situation about that too is that whatever had been sold during that function, 20% went to Northumberland Hills Hospital Foundation. So great win-win and a wonderful way to bring people who I know for a fact would never have come to the community had I not had this fundraiser and invited them.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Karen. Tony, your second question. With the current trends in technology, how important do you feel an online presence is? And with the online presence, what tools do you feel are most important to use?
Well, that's two questions, actually. The first question, in my business, if you don't have a professionally designed and easily navigable site, you're not even in business anymore. When I started my website, when I activated it in 1994, my whole hearts, everybody thought I was going crazy. I couldn't sell houses on the internet or on the web. I mean, even I didn't know. And I'm not a tech person, by all means. I like to set up somebody's kitchen table and do the deal. But I saw that there was some merit, because with the internet, you actually marketing those properties 24/7. As an individual, you can't do that. Maybe Carl can, but I can't do it. And so, just kept the site alive, and not much happened for about 4 to 5 years. I just kept improving it and tweaking it. Then about 10 years ago, we reached a tipping point. And then it just was unbelievable. All of a sudden, we became recognizable, and because I was at the edge of a wedge, what I found is a lot of the other realtors were actually using my site to check what was available, at least in my own inventory. And so today, which I'm 15 years later, 16 years later, I probably do 70% of my business is derived directly from the internet, and that's huge. I mean,
How hard was it to stick with it during those 5 or 6 years until it took off? I mean, that must have been, because you got to keep putting work into it.
It was hard and it was expensive, and because I'm not a tech person, for us, from members of my own team, which had some younger people, I had my daughter and Jill, and kept me at it, I would probably would not have stuck with it because I'm not a tech person myself. But today, and the secret with that, once I got the sense of the potential of that, then I realized that there's a whole bunch of people out there that are just like myself, I'm not that person, but they can use it. And so I wanted it to be very simple so that I could use it. You know, I don't have to go through 17 gates and 5 rings of fire to get my information. And so that was the toughest thing, is to get my tech person to understand that I just wanted 1, 2, 3, and I want the problem. That was very tough to do. Keep it simple and clean. That was very tough. And the thing with technology that I find is that you have to be very careful because it's a double-edged sword. You can spend a lot of money and you can spend all your time learning the new application, the new gizmo, the new this, the new that, and you're not selling. So you have to find out what really works for you, stick with you, become really familiar with that, with that particular tool or tools, and forget all that other stuff because everybody's trying to sell you a whole new whatever.
You mentioned about people taking stuff from your website, ideas from your website. Do you find yourself doing the same thing now? Are you checking out other realtors' websites for ideas to keep things fresh?
I do all the time. I read a lot of tech magazine now just to get ideas. There's a really great magazine called Warkworth, which is amazing and all the latest. And there's a lot of really good literature since then that is available. And I have a really good tech team, really good graphic artists. And it wasn't cheap to do, but at the end of the day, it certainly paid off for me.
Thank you very much, Tony. Tracey, what has been your best piece of advice that you have actually received about being in business for yourself?
It's kind of a hard question because I've received so much good information about being in business for myself.
We can do a talk through if you want.
The best thing is to find out who your target community is, like who you want to target your business towards, and figure out how you can make your business special to them. You have to listen to your customers, to your clients, to other business people, find out what they want to see, and go from there. You have to make sure that you're not spending more than what you're making, but you do have to be able to have some money to start your business somewhere. You have to make sure that all your eggs aren't in one basket. You don't want to just advertise in one thing. You want to be able to spread it out a little bit and then find out what works for you best. You want to be able to make sure that you're not alienating anybody. Make sure that you're using the community to the best of its ability. We have, on Mondays, we're allowed to put something in the paper to talk about your community, and it's free, about your business. That is great. Joining the chamber, joining local other communities, where you can get out your business ideas and talk to other business owners about what they want to do and how your business can help them and how they can help you. I have joined the chamber and I was a member of hospice, and I met a lot of great people. I was able to do a lot of fundraising, and I still do fundraising in the community to help out other people. Getting yourself out there and figuring out what you can do for your community helps you out. If you're not helping your community, why would they help you out? So you need to be out there and figure out, what you can do for everybody, because they're not going to do for you if you're not doing for them. So make sure you listen to everybody who wants to help you. Some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad, but if you listen, you're actually going to find stuff that works for you, for your business. And then you can tell other people, hey, this is what I did. It might not work for you, but it worked for me.
So keep an open mind, listen to all advice that comes in, and
definitely
pick what works.
My fiance owns a business, and he constantly inundates me with, have you tried this, have you done this? And sometimes it gets a little annoying, but you know what, he has good ideas, so I try to remember that and say, okay, he's trying to help. But it's also good to listen to the people who work with you too, because sometimes they have fresh ideas from people that they've talked to that you don't normally think of, and it's like, wow, that may work, so.
Very good. Thank you very much, Tracey. Ken, you built a very, very strong brand. What has been your focus in doing so, in building your brand?
Well, first of all, I think any business can build a brand. With a little creativity, with a little bit of self-promotion and the power to succeed, I think anybody can. I think if you want to succeed, you can build a brand and people will be attracted to that brand. I started my business 19 years ago, and I started in my car and a little white Saturn going throughout the GTA. I didn't live in the car. I went from store to store. I did cold calls because that's what you have to do in sales. I had a lot of nays, I had a lot of yays, but my first year was pretty successful. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just doing the GTA. I want to do Calgary, I want to do Vancouver, I want to do Halifax. I want to increase my business. So I did a trade show in Toronto called the Motor Accessory Show. It's now the 25th year Motor Accessory Show, but I've been doing it for 17. And I just got a little booth at 5 by nothing. It was really small, but I put all my jewelry in there. And I remember these 4 women coming up the aisle, and the lady was freaking because my booth was full of glitzy jewelry, and and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so glittery, it's so shiny." She says, "You're like the glitter king." And I said, "I'm what?" And she said, "The glitter king." And then her friends were happier. They were looking at everything, and then other people came from other exhibitors and other people at the show as well. Anyway, it was amazing. So after the show, I was with a whole bunch of friends, my wife, and we were talking. And I said, "You know what? I've got to have something else besides Ken L fashion jewelry. I've got to have like a little edge or something." And so we sort of came up with a name called the King of Glitz. We sort of took this lady's glitter king thing, but we changed it, and we did the King of Glitz, and it's just stuck. I can't tell you how much it's stuck, and that's been for almost 19 years. So I think branding a name is really important, but there's more to it than that. I mean, you have to brand a product. You have to brand. If they're going to want to buy the product, you've got to brand. Customer service, because I think that's top. I think customer service is huge, as well as the team that you employ. If you don't have a good team with you, working with you, then it's game over. Because I think all of us here have a team, or have a great team that we work with, and we wouldn't be up here if we didn't. And I'm no exception. I have the greatest team in the world, and I love my team. But the thing is, with your team, I think, with my team anyway, because they work so well with me, they allow me to do what I can do in the community, and that frees up my time. And so, it's great, with my team. I think if you feel like a winner, and you think like a winner, and you believe you're a winner, people will be attracted to you and your brand.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ken. That takes us to our questions for the panelists. We're going to turn things over to you in the audience. If you have questions, Peter Beducos and Chris Peltier will be in the audience with wireless microphones. Just put your hand up, and they will get to you, or either bring you out into the aisle to ask your question. Do we have some questions right here? Some people ready with some questions? Put your hand up. I can't see you. While we get Peter and Chris with their wireless mics, I do want to ask everybody to answer the same question. We'll go through once. How important to your business is social networking nowadays? Talking Facebook, Twitter, and any of the other number of sites out there. But the two big ones, of course, being Facebook and Twitter. We'll just start with Bud and go down the line.
Well, obviously, it's an extremely difficult thing to measure. You're not, for us anyways, I mean, we're not selling any products over social media. We're simply, creating awareness. So much like some of the trade shows we do, some of the local events, Canada Day festivals, Waterfront Festival, Ribfest, all that stuff, you're simply creating more awareness for your product, for your services, for your team especially. A lot of what we do we'll put links to various parts of our website that we think people are interested in, such as our team page. Testimonials is a big one for us. So it's just awareness. Telling people about us.
Great. Linda?
Well, we just started, we're now on Facebook, but we've just started, so we really can't measure yet, but certainly I think that it is going that way. I know our website is very important, and it's awareness.
Carl?
Yeah, interestingly enough, the Facebook, social media, I'm heavily into the technology stuff, and with our operation being that it's hearing centers, our demographic really isn't Facebook-oriented, Twitter, all of it, LinkedIn. Although they're not, I'm still putting a lot of strategic efforts into that area. We do have a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. I'm tweeting to myself because, like, who's gonna watch, right? No, but seriously, I tweet and I look every day. Nothing. Right? So, help me. No, but it's, but it's like I'm not gonna have a 90-year-old.
What's your hashtag?
Please tweet. Anyway, yeah. Comedy aside, though, that's my next act. Anyway, but no, I think it's truly important as social media, even though the Facebook has kind of gone to the toilet with respect to their share price. But it is it's still a strategic method of attracting new people. And again, it's so premature for my operation and my demographic, but I'm building the stock, if you will, building that platform. So when it does hit the baby boomers in another 10 years, then I'm ready for it. With respect to the tweeting and the Twitter, all jokes aside, I like it. I think it's a great method to engage. And you know what? As to concur with what Bud said, it's great. You can put specials on there. We ran a May special. I got a lot of new patients in from that, just from Facebook. So all of you, like my page, and I love you.
Thank you very much, Carl. Karen.
Facebook has actually been great for me. I didn't realize that this would happen, but I post things up that's here's the newest thing and put it on the picture of it and all of that. And I've actually managed to sell things off of Facebook, and it wasn't really my intention. Someone would say, "Oh my God, I love that. What size is it in, and how much is it? And can you hold it for me?" I'm coming right away. So that was a surprise and a happy one. Actually, my customers are on Facebook. My target gals are about 45 to say 65. And they're on Facebook because that's how they're communicating with their kids who have moved off to other areas and their grandkids and things like that. So they are on. And so it's a great way for me to communicate with people. And I don't have to do it very often, but anytime there is something that is noteworthy, I will absolutely post it. And it's a great way too, because when people click on a like, if you send something out, you get a sense of who is liking that, and if you are going in the right direction. It's kind of a sort of a marketing temperature almost every time you post something. So I think it's great.
Thank you very much. Tony, your use of social networking.
Well, I'm resisting it myself. I attended a lot of seminars, pros and cons, and there's a learning curve and the security issue for my business, of course, and all the places, all the seminars I've attended, there wasn't a real clear indication to me how that could benefit me from a business standpoint. So I think Facebook comes up with a business page we can actually do it as a marketing tool rather than as a social tool. I think I'll go on a social network. I will wipe up on that.
Thank you very much. Tracey.
We do use Facebook and we do use email, and I do find it great forms of getting your name out there, and it's part of the branding thing that you were talking about. I don't do Twitter because I don't see how anybody want to follow me doing, an hour massage, and we didn't talk much. It just doesn't seem like something anybody would want to hear. So it's something I don't do. But exactly. I used lavender today. I don't. But the more you get your name out there, the more people can see your name out there, that you've hired new people, that you've done this, that you're going to this event, that you're doing whatever. The more people are going to get excited about seeing you out there and finding out what you have to do and what's new with your business. So the more you get your name out there, the better. As long as it's legal.
I know that looking, but get your thoughts on social networking.
Social media rocks for my company, that's for sure. I have an e-blast we do once a month for my retail and my wholesale business. In fact, I have a book at both my locations, and there was a lady that was in my store apparently yesterday. She was my grade 1 teacher from boarding school, and she wrote little notes. People write little notes because I'm not there a lot, but she was my grade 1 teacher, so who knew? So I do e-blast, Facebook. Social media is awesome for my company.
Are you finding direct results through social media? As far as it on the bottom line? Or right now it's just exposure?
Well, because I have a website too, KennethBell.com, I sell globally. I sell all over the world. And I do free shipping for all people throughout North America. So it's just a little extra promotion that I do for anybody who's on my website as well. So yeah, websites, email, Facebook, it's all great.
Perfect, thank you very much. Do we have any questions in the audience? David down here? Oh, there we go.
I got one here.
Hi, my question is probably for all of you. I have a business idea that I want to incorporate and grow. The only problem is I want to know how I can secure it to make sure that once it starts growing that nobody else can come in and take the same idea or any of the ideas that I'm thinking about and just running with it, and maybe, you know, they might have more money than I do to put into it or anything like that. Is there anything that, or someplace I could go that will secure an idea or a business, a startup business?
Is it intellectual property or is it a physical business?
It will be a physical business.
Like on the street? Is it?
It's...
We're not all on the street, but
No.
maybe it is.
Yeah, well, what it is
But it's been done before.
It's never been done before. It is a traveling business involving education for kids, and it's you can go anywhere. It's something that I want to grow, like it's something that I want to start probably locally. I don't want it to expand without giving too much away, but I want it to expand like huge. And I'm afraid that right now somebody else is going to hear about the business or whatever and grab it and take it and run with it, and then the next thing you know, I'm stuck in the mud kind of thing.
Well, as business owners, we're all paranoid by nature, and because that does happen, and even, you know, once you do get up and going, if you have a great idea, I can guarantee you that people will knock it off in some way. It's just the nature of being in business. It's the nature of life. But if you have any trademarks or any like taglines that you want to register or things like that, it wouldn't hurt maybe getting a hold of somebody who can do intellectual properties to see if you can get protected. And do we have somebody who does that here?
Rob Day from the Business Advisory City of Northumberland.
There you go.
He's probably the best person to talk to.
Well, yeah, you can speak to Rob because he can direct you to.
Happy to meet you after.
Yeah, perfect. So
Thank you very much. Thank you for your question. Chris down here in the 5th row.
Hello. I realize that when it comes to advertising, it's very difficult to track your results. My question to you is, what form of media do you find was most effective dollar for dollar?
Naturally, it's radio and television.
I'll answer this because I do a lot of advertising, as you guys are aware, the folks out here. I've tried to address this and assess it year to year to year. But we track it now, and honestly, it is going actually to radio, but it's going to social media. Our Facebook is getting hits regularly. Our website, I do get Google Analytics, and I'm telling you, my website is unbelievable. It's literally gone from here to peaks like that.
Right.
So I'm getting like 200 hits a day. And I don't do stuff on the internet. That's just information. So that's the best information tool for a business. That's just, again, my opinion. These other panelists may have a different opinion, but for me, it's basically the radio, because I got a great voice, and how do they hear you?
To piggyback on what Carl says is that
Speak up.
for my business, the website is probably where we get the most amount of traffic from. We track it, and last time that I had a look at a week or so, we were averaging about 5,000 hits a day. And that's huge. I mean, and what happens is that the 24/7 phenomena is that when my daughter Nikki comes in the morning and she looks after maintaining the website, and she pulls on an average 60 to 80 emails that are coming through the night. People just requesting information, people that work nights and they're looking for information and surfing the net. And so at that point, she addresses every one of those concerns, and she sends them the information. At the same time, we cannot discount all the other media, so you really need to have a more comprehensive marketing package based on the kind of budget you have, so that you have both, the radio advertising, the print media, magazines, and so on and so forth, so that, it's a shutdown approach versus a rifle approach.
Radio has worked for me as well as newspapers, but I find word of mouth is really good too. If you have a good product, it's going to get around what you're doing, and people are going to want to come see you, and then they're going to start telling their friends about the services that you provide. So as long as you get your name out there to begin with, and then keep yourself out there in the community, the word's going to spread. So just do what you're doing. Just try to find ways to make sure you're out there in the community a lot, so that way people can get to know you, either you yourself or your business, or the people in your business. So word of mouth works really well.
It's great. Thank you very much for your questions. I want to thank, at this point, our panelists. This brings us to the end of our first part of the evening. Bud Lauria, Linda Marr, Carl Fletcher, Karen Williams, Tony Pulla, Tracey Osborne, Ken Bell. You guys were fantastic. Great advice. So at this point, we are going to take a short break, about 25 minutes or so. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, go out to the lobby, grab a beverage, check out the great shows that are coming here